In this video, we're going to continue on with the previous lab that we had started. We created one rung of ladder logic, and now we're going to attempt to connect to the controller and download this to see if we can put it into run mode and test it. First thing we need to do is look up here at the path, and notice in our path window it's set to none. So we currently do not have a path, and that's because we've created a new project and no path has been set up. So I've already got links running in the background. I'm going to go down to my taskbar and bring it back up. And notice I've got what's called the links gateway, which we're not going to be using for anything on this particular setup, so we can kind of ignore that. Now I'm running this in a virtual machine. What that means is I'm going to have to set up some kind of hardware that I can use in my virtual machine. Now, most of the newer laptops, which mine fits into that, do not have very many ports on them. So I've got a small USB-C adapter I can plug into my laptop, which I'm going to do right now. And when I do that, it's going to ask me if I want to use that adapter on the host or on the virtual machine. So I'm going to set to connect to virtual machine. And I'm going to then set Windows 10 class, that's the name of the class, and I'm going to set it to connect to the virtual machine. Click OK, and now my hardware is set up to use in the virtual machine that I'm running all this in. Now this particular PLC, it's got a couple things that I want to do, and I'm going to set this up to run on a USB first. So this particular model of PLC or controller has a USB port on the front of the controller. It's the newer type of USB port like you'd see on a printer. So the first thing I'm going to do is plug it into my controller, and then I'm going to plug the USB into my adapter that's on my laptop. It's going to come up and say, oh, found new hardware. Where do you want me to use it? I'm going to set it to use it at the virtual machine. Click OK. And you'll notice in the RS Links window that's on the screen, the USB adapter just automatically populated in RS Links. And if I open this USB up by clicking the plus to the left of it, you're going to notice there's my PLC or my PAC controller. And if I keep going, you'll see it'll show more parts of it, the compact bus. You can see all of these parts of it. It shows my discrete I/O. What that tells us is RS Links was able to automatically set this driver up for us. So from a standpoint of simplicity, the USB driver is probably one of the simplest ones to set up. It doesn't really require you to do anything except plug it in. Now this only is used on the newer Allen Bradley hardware that's currently being used with the Studio 5000. Basically version 21 of the hardware and higher can use that software. So let's minimize links to get it back out of the way. We're going to go up to our path where last we looked said none. And to the right of that I'm going to click this little icon called Who Active. So we're clicking Who Active. That brings up a window that looks it's pretty much links just kind of pulled up inside of our 5000. You can see we're down on the USB. Our controller's highlighted. We now have the option over here to go online, upload, download, several things. What we want to do is download. We don't have a program yet over in our controller. We created a simple one-rung program. We're going to select download. It's going to attempt to connect to the controller through this driver we've got set up. So we'll wait a few seconds. You can see it's starting to connect over here under the controller heading on the left. You can see that. So we'll select download. It's going to download the whole project. It's going to compile it. It's going to set tags. Everything in here that needs to be sent to the controller is going to be compiled and downloaded. So it takes a few seconds for that to happen. And as soon as it's finished, you're going to see it finalizing the download. And then once it's done, it's going to come up with a little message asking us, would we like to put the controller back into remote run mode? If you look up in the top left corner right now, you can see it's in remote program. So we're almost done. Controller's acknowledging that we've sent everything over to it. And at this point it comes up and says, all right, we've sent the controller program over to it. We're done downloading. Do you want to change the controller mode back to remote run? At this point we'll click yes. You're going to see the links window kind of go away. Now we're in remote run. If I click down one line here, get it down to the end rung, you can see our left and right rails in the ladder logic are both green, telling us we're running this little program. I'm going to turn on toggle switch 0. So local 1i data.0 is input 0. When I turn the switch on, this particular instruction called an examine on, it goes and looks for the tag for a 1. When I hover over it, you can see the value is a 1. So at that point it comes over here and says, okay, if that instruction's true, I need to turn on the output. So this instruction says write a 1 to local 10 data 0, and it does that. And what happens now over on the controller trainer is output light 0 lights up, telling us our project is working. We'll turn the toggle switch 0 back off. Our switch goes back to the off state, which causes this instruction to go false. At that point, this instruction writes a 0 to our tag above it, and our light turns off. So at this point, we've got our simple one-rung program downloaded, controllers in run mode, and things tested out okay. So our next video will kind of go into more detail on these instructions and talk about what else we can learn in the Studio 5000 software. So have a great day, and I'll see you next time.